Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana, the hostess with the mostest. Let's get into this. So, no, not the periodic table, but definitely really, really, really soon, right? But the creator wanted me to go into just dive a little bit deeper into the conversation from yesterday, because we had the discussion of what the warfare manifestations present as, and how sometimes people are often confused with what it really looks like versus what it really is, right? And this is mainly for people who are having a hard time adjusting, right, to the spiritual aspect of life, for the people who are fairly new to interpreting, and just people who really, really don't fully understand warfare yet, right? Obviously, if you are aware of warfare, then you are aware of the symptoms and everything that's connected to being spiritually attacked, right? You easily pick these things up. But the issue here is that a lot of confusion lies within the spiritual streets, right? And we all know that God is not the confusion author. We already know who orchestrates all of that chaos, right? But don't be worried. Like, don't get too crazy, right? Because God is always going to cover you and have your back. Anytime God is throwing you in something, He really wants you to learn something or take away something from that situation, right? Now, a lot of the things that we have discussed is, well, not a lot, but all of it is related to the spiritual side of life, right? The spiritual world, the unseen. Anything that affects the masses of people, anything that you need to understand in chunks, like in small portions or pieces, anything that you may be involved in that you don't have a full understanding, but you have enough understanding to move through it, is God. Okay? Something just coming to you out of nowhere, out of the blue, is probably an attack. God doesn't, He does surprises, but He does surprises connected to warnings and prophetic, visions and downloads. He'll send messengers. Like, God does not do out of the blue, okay? He's not one to, like I said, just plop you somewhere without prior knowledge or skill or resource to sustain whatever area He has placed you in for that time, right? We all know everything is season based. We all know that literally nothing lasts forever. But we have this understanding with the Creator that the things we do know is what's gotten us through. If you decide to subscribe to anything else, you're putting yourself in danger, in a hot seat. A lot of us knock ourselves out of alignment because we don't allow things to unfold the way that they're supposed to. And I'm not saying things don't happen the way they're supposed to, but sometimes we bring on extra things onto ourselves because we're not allowing the alignment to take place. Now, I'm not even talking about the physical, part of us, right? Like, not sex or lust or anything, like money. All of those things can lead you into craziness, but I'm saying as far as you and your concept and your thinking and your perspective, all of those things dictate your choices, right? And the things that you decide to get involved in or lack thereof. So the biggest issue is that a lot of people are having a hard time identifying what is coming from God and what is not when they're in the midst of warfare, because the devil can dress some stuff up really good. Remember, he's the king of the airwaves, right? God has given him this area, right, or this realm, if you will, as his little playground. So just because someone is coming to you and presenting themselves or a situation as a certain way doesn't mean it's from God. It doesn't mean that you need to be involved with that person. It doesn't mean that you have to pick up what they're putting down, because you have been given a bunch of people. And these people that you have been given are assigned to you by a time frame. Don't allow your haste and your confusion to get caught up or confused with people or situations that appear to be providing you with your needs. Most of us who are spiritually aware know this, right? So again, I said this a few minutes ago. This is mainly for people who are new to discernment, using your gifts, hearing the voice of God, and just really like new to the whole spirituality, attack thing. And this is major because the rise of the attacks are happening now. And God definitely told me to tell everybody that. Like right now this is what's going on, right? You have a bunch of people who knows that the clock is ticking and they don't have a lot of time to live. And I mean physically live and spiritually live, right? A lot of people are going to be dying soon, right? And they know that. So they're trying to get their last little bids in. So if you haven't really been seeing like the manifestations or changes that you can really honestly say is coming from God, just wait on it. It's coming. Because this is the season for, his children to start reaping what it is that he said that they should. And no devil in hell can stop it. Only one can stop it is God or you. Okay? You not accepting, you not believing, you not wanting, or you just going against God totally, right? And what he's instructing you to do and not to do. That's the only way. Other than that, there is absolutely nothing no one or no thing can do to stop you from receiving the blessings of God. No matter how much people think they're doing or stopping or preventing, trust and believe me, it's all a part of the plan, because God needs you to see all the players that are involved in, this attempted whatever it is. And I can speak from personal experience with that one, because that is the premise of this podcast, right? Warding off the attacks, being consciously aware of what is being sent, when it's being sent, and by who. And all of this goes according to your gifts, right? God is going to level you up as your maturity, your physical and your spiritual maturity advances and enhances. You're not going to know who unless he wants you to know who. You're not going to know why unless he wants you to know. And we had this conversation before about just simply being okay with not knowing or understanding, but still being able to move forward, right? It's your job to understand as much as you can. Whatever you don't understand or know, it's because God doesn't want you to. Maybe not at that time, right? And that is okay. Like, it's okay to not know. What's not okay is to be disobedient to God. And God understands, your sin and your disobedience and your impatience. He gets that, right? No human can tell you how to disobey God, right? There's no instructions on disobeying the Creator, right? So don't allow yourself to be thrown off by, what you feel doesn't make sense, because it may start making sense tomorrow. Like, you may wake up with a new thought process and a better understanding of where God is taking you, right? No one is in control of that. So, that's why even here with me or anywhere else, when you are seeking spiritual advisory, you need to be really careful and make sure that this person is a part of the team that is put in alignment for you. Because some people have spiritual advice for different types of spirits, right? If you go to someone who is religious and they're giving you spiritual advice, you need to know that it's a possibility that they could be feeding you some bullshit. Not because they mean to, but just because their perspective and what it is that they know is based on that one idea. Like, how do you know that your spirit of learning, your spirit of understanding is even connected to theirs in that kind of way? So they don't even have to purposely give you bad information. They're just giving it to you because this is all that they know. This is all that they've experienced. Just because someone is older or younger doesn't mean that they know more or less. Just because someone isn't from your culture or doesn't practice your religion doesn't mean that you won't be able to make a connection or identify with them. And just because you don't agree with a thing doesn't mean that it's wrong, right? So we have to break these confinements off of our perceptions and our understanding of the life around us, because God gives everyone a different perspective, right? This can go back to reading sacred texts. If you give one passage to a group or a room of, let's say, 10 people, you might get about 7 or 8 different responses or interpretations of that one thing. And it doesn't say or mean someone is more right or more wrong than the next person. Your journey is going to determine how you interpret those things. And you need to understand that. Like, you need to understand your journey is connected to your perception. And again, no one is more right than the next person. You have to be willing to understand that your perception is based off of your experience. And we know that. So just be conscious of it. I'm saying be conscious of how you perceive things, because the way you think, the way you believe, the way you see things, the way you observe things is solely based off of your experience, what you know, right? What you have in your tool bag. You can't tell a person they're wrong if you don't understand their plight, or if you don't know exactly what it is that they experience to even think the way they think. Okay? So that's really important, to be open and receptive to different perspectives and ideations and ideals, because God didn't make all of us the same. Like, we're not all from the same corner of the earth. We don't have the same religion. We don't eat the same food. We don't have the same genetics. We don't speak the same language. We don't look the same. Even people within certain cultures have many different variations within that one system. So just keep that in mind. The warfare is solely separated by who and what and how everything connected to it is affected. And that's how you can tell. If it's out of the blue, it's probably from the other side. Okay? Love y'all. Peace.